The biggest question I really would like to know is, how the hell did a film that's ripping off Superman not get sued? Any answers? No? Anyway, on with today's video. Brightburn is a 2019 American superhero horror film directed by David Yarovesky, written by Mark Gunn and Brian Gunn, and it's produced by James Gunn and Kenneth Huang. It stars Elizabeth Banks, David Denman, Jackson A. Dunn, Matt Jones and Meredith Hagner. It follows Brandon Breyer, a young boy of extraterrestrial origin reared on Earth who realises he has superpowers. Upon learning of them, he is brainwashed by the ship he arrived in. He then rejects his humanity and turns to evil, opting to terrorize his hometown, including his parents. Upon its release, it was met with mixed reviews, claiming that the film had a great premise but fails to deliver. So what could have made this film better? Well, let's look into this and discuss 10 things that could make Brightburn better. As you're here, do you mind just hitting one of these buttons along the bottom of the screen that are below the video player? That would help me out tremendously. And also, as usual, a warning, spoilers, because I am going to be spoiling the film if you've not seen it. Number 10, depth. Essentially, this film is about an alien baby coming to Earth to destroy the planet.
Wait, Berryman, are you talking about my brother Kakarot?
Thanks Raditz, but no, I'm not actually talking about Dragon Ball. Well, not yet anyway. Maybe one day, but this one's not Dragon Ball.
Oh. Well, fine then. Continue on.
Thanks Raditz. Anyway, as I was saying, this film, he's a baby, comes to Earth as a baby, and ultimately he's to destroy the Earth. But he doesn't know that to start with. It's not until the film brainwashes him to destroy the Earth. But why? I've said it before in these videos. One of the biggest things films need to do is explain why. It's what made Thanos one of the best bad guys in the MCU. Why does he have to destroy the planet? Why did he get sent here to destroy the planet? It doesn't really explain it. There's no real depth. Number 9. Parents. Just like Superman, Brandon's parents are very caring and very loving, and they're very supportive of their son. Yet, when Brandon has to turn and become a bad guy, he does it quite easily. He's not conflicted. Now, I could understand if his parents were evil or nasty or just didn't care, then it would be more believable. But the fact he had loving parents and wasn't conflicted. Now, I know he didn't kill his parents straight away until they turned on him, but still, he wasn't really conflicted at all. Number 8. Score. Yep, the bloke who normally always praises a film score in his film reviews is actually putting the score on one of his lists. Why? Because there isn't one. I mean, you get noises every now and again, but there isn't any musical score. Now, there is sort of at the end, in the end of the third act, but throughout this film, there isn't really much of a score. You need that music. You need that something to enhance the emotion we as an audience are supposed to be feeling, and this film doesn't actually have it. There's nothing there, and unfortunately it makes the film feel flat and lifeless. Number 7. Shaky Cam. Personally, I hate shaky cams, but I do understand why they use it. It's in action scenes, in fight scenes or stuff like that. It enhances the viewing pleasure of us audience. We can get really immersive in it. So I understand it. That's why I've never put it on these lists as well, because it's a personal choice not to like shaky cams. However, that being said, on a scene where it's just two people talking and that's it, you don't need a shaky cam. In fact, it was very off-putting. Why shake the camera? It's supposed to be a touching, emotional scene and the camera is shaking like that. Why? It was really off-putting. But yeah, take away the shaky cam. Make it a static camera shot in emotional scenes where two people are talking. Number 6. Reactions. As Brandon starts to learn about his powers, one of the first things he actually has an issue with is a lawnmower. He throws it away, throws it miles, and then he goes over to it, it's on its back and the blades are spinning. So what does he do to test his powers? Well, he puts his hand in to stop the blades. Now, that's all fine, except once he realises he has powers and he can't be hurt, there's nothing. There's no like, or there's no smirking or anything. He's just completely emotionless. You should have had him do something one way or another, either shocked or oh yes or anything like that, just to give us that little bit of in-depth to his mindset, but we got nothing. Number 5, conflicting parenting. Now I've already said, and I maintain, his parents were really nice, loving people. It doesn't stop the fact that they were very conflicting. I mean, what do I mean? I mean, for Brandon's 12th birthday, he got given a rifle from his aunt and uncle, and his dad promptly took him away, saying he's too young, he's not allowed that. Okay, that's fine, except for the next day you take him out hunting with a rifle. What sort of a message are you actually giving him? It's like me punishing my children by saying they're not allowed on the Xbox, and then 5 minutes later saying, do you want to play a 2-player co-op game on my PS4? That's not really giving them a punishment or any sort of message. You are doing 2 different conflicting messages. No. Number 4, wolves. So obviously it's set on a farm and there are chickens on this farm. Yay! And during this film, the chickens unfortunately get killed. Unfortunately, Brandon's parents are arguing whether Brandon did it or wolves did it. Except this film is set in Kansas. There's been no wolves in Kansas since 1905. Yes, before anyone says in the comments, there was one in 2012, but ultimately wolves have been extinct in Kansas since 1905. Did the people who make this film do any research whatsoever? I mean, what you should have said is coyotes. Coyotes are still in Kansas, but not wolves. Number 3, Auntie. This is a big plot point in this film. So when Brandon's auntie finds out that Brandon's not actually being that good a guy, he's going to tell on him. So Brandon threatens her, then goes to her house to threaten her some more, and is going to kill her. But he gets interrupted because Brandon's uncle comes home and finds him there and goes to take him home and then promptly kills his uncle. Okay, that's all fine, except for the rest of the film, the auntie's left alone. Even in the hospital, when they're talking, she's there, she's fine. She doesn't get killed, there's no threats, there's nothing. The whole point of that scene was he was going to kill his auntie. He never did it. To be fair, she wasn't that good of an auntie anyway. Number 2, missing scene. Like most films, there are scenes that are filmed that are not used. And normally it's for pacing or timing or just for story issues. But there's one scene they should have actually kept in this film. The little girl Caitlin, whose hand was crushed by Brandon. At the end of the film, she had her arm in a sling. She takes it off and shows her robotic arm. They should have actually kept it in, just to show that Brandon's actions does have consequences in his future. It could have built something for the future. And talking about the future though, number 1, Future. Technically, this is a sequel to 2010's Super. The reason being is one of the main characters from Super is in the end credits of this film. But what about this film? I would love to know what happens next. That's it, his humanity's gone. He's an outright bad guy. I want to know what happens next. Are we going to have a rip-off version of Batman? I mean, let's face it, the only on-screen version of Batman v Superman wasn't that good. Can a rip-off version do better? And I actually think they could. Or hell, we could have an Injustice, have a DCEU and a Brightburn crossover. Their Superman versus Brightburn. That would be awesome. There's so much potential this film could get. Now, unfortunately, James Gunn at this moment of time is producing the Suicide Squad. Then he's moving on to Guardians 3. But then what? I really hope and want and pray that he does a sequel to this. Final thoughts. One of the biggest criticisms when making a comic book film is its changes. When they make those little changes to try and what they think is better for the big screen. So what's this film do? It literally threw the rulebook out the window and changed it. But it changed it so much you didn't care. It answered the question, what would happen if Superman was bad? That's it. Everything else can go. And that was what makes this film so great. Its potential was fantastic. And it is a great story, and I'm not going to deny that. The story of it is fantastic. Now, as I said on this list, what it's missing mainly is its depth. It's that why. We need to know why. Why is why Heath Ledger's Joker was awesome and Jared Leto's was yeah. Because we got the why. He just likes chaos. And it was brilliant. And it brought out that depth to his Joker. That's what this film is missing. Which is a shame. If it did just add that little bit more, it would make it so much more enjoyable. It'd bring up more talking points. But still, it's a great story and I'm not going to take away from that story. In regards to the cast, well, the cast was perfect. I mean, I'll be first to admit, I was slightly worried having Elizabeth Banks as a loving mother. She's normally comedic or something a bit quirky, but she pulled it off brilliantly. And everyone was brilliant. Even the kid who played Brandon was perfect. He had the times where he was like innocent, but he pulled off the evil perfectly. I also do want to throw out how awesome the special effects were. Now, when Ivan had his car crash and the steering wheel hit him right here and ripped his jaw off, that was amazing. And also, this film's done something which I am quite happy to share, because I'm not a squeamish person. But Erica had glass in her eye and she pulled it out herself. I was actually screaming on the sofa. It was brilliant. It was so well done. All the special effects people are brilliant. And the best bit is, I couldn't tell if it was CGI or practical effects. That is when it's well done. When you put that doubt in my mind, it is brilliant. So what am I going to rank this film? Well, as I said, it's a good story. It's just things could have made this film so much better. The potential was there. But I'm not going to be too harsh because I did enjoy this film. So I am going to give this 7 out of 10 berries. It's predominantly the score and the depth has let it down. But what did you think? Have you seen this film? What did you think of this film? If you haven't seen this film, has this review made you want to go and watch it? I hope it has. And if it has, please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, next week, I have had a film that I've had more requests for than I've ever had before. But I really do not want to watch it. Should I watch Frozen 2 or not? Please say no, because I really don't want to watch that film. The choice is yours. But till then, I'll see you next Sunday, 6 o'clock. Bye-bye.